Hello, Kiss Army. Welcome to the Kiss Army Things podcast. Today's going to be a fun one. My name is Xander.
My name is Daphne.
So there really isn't an overarching topic for this episode, I don't think, at least. Maybe we'll find out along the way. But typically we always have a central topic, and then even though we do some stuff before and after, there's always one kind of driving topic. But today, I guess the topic is just Kiss.
Yeah, and there's just always, nowadays there's so many tour updates to talk about that it's not like we have a shortage of news.
Bingo. Maybe that's what it'll be, is just more tour updates, because you're right, we do have some of those, as well as a few other updates. We have some good news and some bad news, and we'll start off with an apology on my part real quickly, because I really wanted to have my latest Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park VFX edit done and uploaded this week. That was supposed to be the next video on the channel, and I'm realizing that even though I already knew these were hard to do, this one is by far the most challenging, the most difficult, so rest assured that it will happen, but just give me one more week to do it, and in the meantime, you get more Kiss Army things.
Yeah,
so,
but at least we're doing something, right?
At least we're doing something, right? Exactly. I haven't even opened my money bag yet.
Well, you better get to it. I didn't even check to see. Oh, yes, I do have a message today, and it's cha-ching.
Mine's cash deal.
So we typically start our episodes out with our Kiss Spotlight. So this is just where we highlight whatever Kiss album or Kiss adjacent musical thing that we've been listening to, whatever we've been jamming to for the past week.
Yep.
So do you want to start us out today, Xander?
Sure, I sure do. I have a few this week. I've been listening to a lot of Kiss. And the album that I'm listening to is Monster, because we just celebrated the anniversary of Monster. And I'm curious to ask you and the audience, because do you guys have like an album that, or maybe an artist or whatever, that just sounds better during a specific season?
100%.
Because Monster is like that for me.
Yeah.
Because it came out in the fall, in October. Mm-hmm. It's October right now. It's fall, Halloween season. So every time I listen to Monster, it just sounds, I mean, I hear it all year long, it's fine, but it sounds more nostalgic during the fall.
Yeah, it just hits different.
It's the weather, it's the leaves changing, again, Halloween. So for me, Monster was already going to be on my turntable or in the car because of the fact that it's the anniversary.
Right.
But now that it's the fall, or because it is the fall, I'm like, man, this album just hits differently in the fall. And there's a few albums I have that are like that from different bands where it just sounds better. It's like seasonal listening. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I feel like that about most music that I listen to. I mean, there's a lot of things that, like you said, you can and do listen to year round, but it's just there's certain albums that just are different at different times of the year, and I've always felt that way. Different genres as well, I feel like, is another thing for me. I feel like I listen to, more of a certain genre in the winter than I do summer is a different
like
vibe.
Pop in the summer.
Yeah, pop is more summer. I think fall is more rock and roll, honestly.
What's your winter vibes?
Winter, if I'm going to get into rap, it's going to be in the winter time.
Okay.
But yeah, I definitely feel that way. And I think as far as albums go, it also just depends when those albums came out or when you heard them for the first time. Even if you didn't hear it for the first time when it came out.
True.
It's something about the first time that you experienced that album, that's the time of year that it's going to hit different.
You're absolutely right.
But yeah, no, I definitely agree with that.
Another album, this is not Kiss related, but one album I kind of have the same feelings towards is Slipknot's album, All Hope Is Gone.
Okay.
Even though it came out in August of 2008, I didn't listen to it and get it until November.
See?
It was supposed to be a Christmas gift. And my dad was nice enough to actually buy me the CD and a new little stereo a month prior. So I listened to that. And so even though it could be like a late summer album, as when it came out, I didn't hear it until the fall, almost winter. So
right, so that's not what it is to you.
To me, it's very much a fall, cold, changing of the seasons album, even though, yeah, you're right. So Monster is just one of my Kiss spotlights this week. The other one is actually not an album related. It's actually a book. And I did show this on the previous episode, or a previous episode, but I wanted to spotlight Desmond Child's new book, Living on a Prayer. Because even though I'm not a big reader, I wanted to get this book and get to know Desmond more. Obviously, he's responsible for writing I Was Made for Loving You with Paul and Heaven's on Fire, as well as Living on a Prayer and many, many other songs spanning from the 80s and 90s up till today's artist. So I wanted to read his book and get to know more about him. And even though I'm only you can see I'm not very far in it at all. But even though I'm still towards the beginning, this is a fantastic book. and I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I am right now. Not that I thought it was going to be a bad book. I just thought it was going to be different. Like, so far I'm getting his family's history and his mother's history, going back to and dealing with like rebellions in Cuba involving Fidel Castro himself.
Wow.
And like, it's like crazy stuff that I never even expected. So we haven't even gotten to where he's actually writing songs and meeting guys like Paul and writing for these big artists and becoming a big artist himself. So I'm eager to see where this book goes. But right now I'm just enjoying the beginnings of it because I like the way it's written. I like the way it's put together. Again, I'm not a big reader. And so I just don't get captivated by books like most people do. Like I know you love to read and are a big reader and all that. So I just love what I'm reading so far. There was even a little part in the beginning where, before getting into his family's history, he talked a little bit about driving around with Paul Stanley and showing Paul songs that he had written for or with Bon Jovi. Songs like Living on a Prayer, You Give Love a Bad Name, Wanted Dead or Alive. Some of those songs, hearing those for the first. So Paul got to hear those before most of us did.
That's awesome.
Before it was even out. And I just thought that was such a great story. What a great rock and roll story to have, two artists, driving around, listening to what is going to become an extremely successful album with amazing songs, and here they are hearing the demos in the car, driving around at night. So that was just a beautiful story. It was beautifully written. And so, yeah, the Desmond Child's book is one of my other spotlights. Would you want to put this over there?
I'd love to. Yeah, it seems, even though I haven't actually read any of it myself yet, I think you've read me a few little excerpts of it. Just cool little stories here and there.
Yes.
Yeah, and just the way he writes, and I guess I shouldn't be surprised because obviously he's such a great songwriter and he has such a way with words, but that really translates really well to, like, writing a long form book like this. It just seems like the way he tells stories, like you said, is actually captivating and like almost like plays out like a movie in your head.
For real.
So it's not just like, this is what happened, this is what happened. It's just the words that he uses to describe it really, really pulls you in. And really cool.
Who's the other writer that's editing with him? Because maybe he has something to do with it too. His name is
David Ritz.
David Ritz is also helping out. So between those two, I mean, this is an amazingly written book. You're right. Even though they are real people and these are real stories, I can almost like create them in my head as characters and have the story play out. So that's how you know it's a really good book.
That's cool.
So if anybody's looking for something good to read, and you're a Kiss fan, that might be something for you to check out. Desmond Child's new book. Other than that, Crazy Nights. This is like the third or fourth week in a row.
We've been listening to Crazy Nights for like a month and a half now.
I don't know if it's because of laziness or if just because it's one of the greatest Kiss albums. I don't know. It's just...
I think it's a combo. I think you haven't wanted to take it out of your car, haven't wanted to go through that trouble because it is still slapping. It's
For
so,
real, yes.
It's so good.
It's still just smacking me around.
Yes.
It's so good. And I feel like the more I listen to Kiss albums, the less filler I hear.
Yeah.
Because we always talk about how, like, oh yeah, Kiss albums, they have like one or two good songs and the rest is filler. And it's like, no. It's all killer, man.
Yeah.
It's all killer. And so I'm loving listening to these songs over and over again and just letting them marinate even more than they already have. So for whatever reasons, Crazy Nights has been sounding really good, but I literally like had her take it out of the car.
Yeah,
because it's your CD. So I was like, yeah, we listened to it before we did this. We went out to eat and came back and listened to Crazy Nights, and I was telling her, I said, you got to take us out. This is yours. Take it. Go. I'm going to find something else and force myself.
Get Monster in here.
Get Monster in here. It's time. But yeah, I've had Crazy Nights in my car for a month, so...
Yeah, and honestly, like, that's not my main spotlight, but I'm just going to give an honorable mention to Crazy Nights as well, because we have been listening to it so much, and we've been, kind of refathoming these songs quite a bit, so I have to mention it.
Love it.
But my main one for this week is actually Amber Wild and their two new singles, which are Breakout and Silver.
So not like Kiss, but kind of Kiss adjacent.
Yes, I'm sorry that mine isn't fully Kiss, but
it's still relatable.
It is still Kiss adjacent, and Amber Wild is officially on tour with Kiss as of last night for us. They had their first performance, and these songs just came out.
Yeah, these two singles came out the 19th.
Yeah, last Friday. Yeah, just last
yesterday
week.
For us.
Oh, okay, so not last Friday, just yesterday?
Today's the 20th for us filming.
Okay.
And so it was the 19th that came out.
Yeah, so these are two brand new songs. We heard them for the first time last night, and they are fantastic.
Especially Breakout.
They're so good, and I had high hopes, but I also, wasn't trying to get my hopes up too much because you never know what to expect. But I genuinely recommend checking these songs out. They're really, really good. Evan's voice is fantastic. The guitar, the drums. The production is just flawless. It's just that, like, melodic but still crunchy rock and roll that we love. I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, Breakout is definitely the hardest hitting banger for sure. But Silver is growing on me a lot as well. It's been getting stuck in our heads. We've been kind of singing it around the house, even though we just heard it for the first time yesterday. And it's really cool. Right before this, we actually saw some footage of them performing. We couldn't find a video of Breakout, so if you have one from Cincinnati, let us know.
Leave a link.
Yes, but we did find some footage of Silver at the show last night, and they did great. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing them in Indy. It's going to be awesome.
It was really cool. And yeah, so I've been waiting. We've been talking about how they need to have material recorded and released. And I think it's all coming together now because we were kind of thinking, all right, guys, come on, like, chop.
Hurry
like,
up.
You're on tour with Kiss or going on tour with Kiss. You don't have a single song out yet. What's going on? And I think actually what they're doing is perfect because they released the 2 songs the night before their first date with Kiss. And while they play those songs live for the first time, they're also meeting fans after their show, after their set.
At the booth, yeah.
At these shows, at the merch booth. And, of course, no doubt selling, T-shirts, selling CDs, and selling whatever. And they may have a 3rd single on the horizon.
I hope so.
Upcoming.
I feel like they teased that recently, I think.
They did tease that live somewhere. So that's really cool. So everything is lining up.
Yeah.
It's starting to line up. It's coming together. They have songs out now, and they're really good. To me, like you said, I had kind of high hopes, but I wasn't really looking to, compare. I don't want to compare him to Paul.
Never.
I don't want to compare him to Kiss, even though he is Paul's son, and they do look similar in some ways, and obviously they do both play guitar and sing. I don't want to compare him to Paul. He is his own person. He's going to create his own. I mean, he could be a freaking jazz musician. He could be a jazz drummer or a jazz pianist or whatever, and do whatever he wants. But since he is a rock star, you do kind of get to see him in this zone, in this area, and I love what I see.
Yeah.
Breakout, I think, is an amazing song. I wasn't having, like, too high hopes with this. I just wanted to listen to good music. I think that after so long, I mean, how long has rock and roll been around at this point? Decades, generations, and it's hard to find something new, find something fresh, and find something that actually lands and actually sticks. So I was like, if I just hear even like a cool riff or a cool, vocal or whatever, something memorable, I'll be all right. And Breakout was the one that, like, met or exceeded that threshold, those expectations, and was like, this is actually a good song.
Yeah.
It was just a raw, nasty 80s metal solo right in the middle of the song. You had great vocals by Evan. Of course, he was using not just highs, but also lows, which was really cool because Paul tends to just kind of camp in the highs. So I really liked it. I did. I mean, I wish there was something else I could say, but Silver, I think, is growing on me.
Yeah, me too.
Silver's a little bit slower, tempo-wise than Breakout, which I tend to go for the fast, those heaters, I Stole Your Love, songs like that. So Breakout to me was fantastic. Although I liked the chorus, the leading line in Silver, in my head, around my neck, like Silver.
Yeah.
I don't know all the lyrics yet, so I could be interpreting the song, but it sounds like there's somebody in the writer's life that's been in their head and maybe been getting to them, or maybe they've been thinking about them for a while, and they're just in their head, around their neck, like Silver.
Yeah.
I think the reference is pretty clear there, but I liked it. It was good. It was good stuff.
It's really cool stuff. Definitely recommend checking it out, and we definitely plan on when we go in Indy, and maybe when you go to Rosemont, to trying to meet them.
Yes.
Because they were saying on stage that they were going to be at the merch booth ready to meet people, and I would love to meet Evan Stanley and his band. That'd be so cool. And I just love the energy of the rest of the band too. Is great.
Yes.
Like it does not feel like it's just Evan Stanley and some other guys.
No, like, Thomas, the drummer, is insane.
He's insane, and like the other 2 members as well. I mean, the other guitar player does does vocals along with Evan, like some really cool harmonies.
Oh, the harmonies and the melodies are...
Yeah, and they all just have great energy running around the stage. Like, it's really promising. I know people had a lot of mixed feelings about Amber Wild joining KISS, and understandably so. But
those have been squashed now.
I recommend giving it a chance, because I think they are really taking this seriously and really trying to live up to expectations, and they're exceeding my expectations so far.
Yeah, well, you said taking it seriously, and you're absolutely right. There was a video that Evan did on social media where he said, hey, this is Evan from Amber Wild. We're going to be opening for KISS. Come check us out. Come see us. And it was... If you didn't know Evan's last name, because let's face it, unless you're a diehard KISS fan, you're not going to know Evan Stanley, you know. But the way he was talking about it, it was like any other band would do it.
Right.
You know, it wasn't the son of Paul saying, hi, son of Paul here.
Right,
you know, come see, you know, me perform for my dad's band.
Right.
You know, it wasn't like that. It was like, look, even if Paul wasn't Paul or Paul wasn't my dad or whatever, you know, this is business at this point. You know,
this is a big opportunity.
I'm the opening act.
Yeah.
I'm the supporting band on this mega successful band's last tour. So remove the whole, oh, I'm his son, he's my dad thing, and let's just go out there and put on a real rock show. And so, again, we only have one show so far to judge it by, but I'm loving what I see.
Me too.
And I'm excited to see what's going to be happening next, because... yes, like you said, they're going to be performing with KISS on all the U.S. dates until and except New York. They won't be performing with KISS, opening for KISS in New York. Either that means that there's going to be something other special thing happening, or nothing at all.
I kind of hope nothing.
Just KISS. I hope it's just KISS.
Yeah. If there's something else, it's got to be something extraordinary. In
my fantasy of fantasies, I would love to see the Bruce Kulick band.
Something like that.
But would Bruce want to open for KISS? You know, have Peter and Ace. But would Peter and Ace want to open for KISS? No, they wouldn't. So
Bruce maybe, but the other two.
Bruce, but like, I mean, I don't know. It'd be better just to have Bruce come out on stage at some point with them, or again, nothing at all. Just have it be what KISS is.
Yeah.
So either way, Amber Wild will not be joining KISS, opening for them at the New York shows. They will also not be joining KISS on any Canadian dates.
Okay, interesting. I didn't know that.
Out of the last 20, 25 shows we have left, they're only going to be with them on maybe like 15 of them or so, something like that, 15, 20, because the Canadian shows, and I'm not sure why, there's no reason I can think of, unless they just didn't want to have to do international, maybe there's like some sort of things that happen internationally.
Have any other acts been announced internationally or no? Like, do we know for sure that they're not going to be there, or is it just not announced yet? Like, are they just taking it one leg at a time?
Well, there's a graphic that KISS had posted, that was posted, that showed the last 25 dates. And each one that Amber Wild was playing at had an asterisk next to it.
Okay, yeah.
And it said, featuring Amber Wild as the opener.
Gotcha.
And the only dates that were without that asterisk were Canadian dates.
Okay,
so the only ones that do have Amber Wild right now are the U.S. dates, and those are the only dates left is U.S. and Canada, and then KISS is done. So, presumably speaking, you know, Amber Wild will be joining KISS only on these U.S. dates, including Hollywood Bowl coming up. So that'll be awesome. I did mention that we have some bad news in the beginning of the episode, so I'll just get that out of the way. Although I'm sure we're all aware of the cancellation of the Dubai show. The last 25 shows was supposed to kick off in Dubai on the 13th, and just a day or two before that, of course, there were some terrorist attacks, and there's been some ongoing conflict over there, and so, respectfully speaking, Gene and Paul backed out.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was KISS that canceled, not the promoters. Whether it was for safety or solidarity, doesn't matter. It sounds like it was Gene and Paul's decision to do that. And so even though that's not how I wanted to do it, we're going to go ahead and mark Dubai off of our KISS world map that we've been following, as well as Cincinnati, because they just played last night. Of course, that's what we're talking about with Amber Wild. But with a new leg and a new opening band also brings a new stage. We got it.
It's awesome.
We got it. So we were kind of almost wishfully thinking that KISS would do some new stage and have something really cool to kind of bring out for these last handful of shows. And they did. They delivered. So if anybody hasn't seen the pics yet, I'll try and throw a couple pics up of the new stage. But I like what I see. So obviously they still have the same theme, the same end-of-the-road theme. But, I mean, we have a bunch of new changes.
Oh, yeah.
Just off the top of my head, I mean, I know we have new configuration of the screens.
Yeah,
the pods
are very
I'm
different.
not sure why we call them pods either. I mean, maybe it's just because they descend on 3 of them in the beginning, but
That's just
I'm not
what we've
sure
always
why.
called them.
Yeah, and I don't know where I heard that from, or if I said it, or if I heard it from somebody else and just kind of, said it back. But like we've been just calling them pods the whole time.
I don't know what else I would call them.
Octagonal screens, octagonal pods. I don't know, because they're not really pods. A pod is like a dome shape with like.
I think it works.
And enclosing. I don't know.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, but
I think it's just a term that someone started and it stuck.
At this point, we all know.
It's easy to say, and we all know what it means.
Yeah, exactly. So we have a new configuration. They used to be sort of in the back, overhanging. Now they are way more over
way
top,
up front. Yeah.
hanging down and out, and that's because not only is there 9. There isn't 11. We now have 19 of them.
No wonder. I was wondering why it looks so
19.
different. Are they smaller?
No.
So it's
maybe
just spread out more?
They are spread out, and there's just more.
Yeah, it looks crazy.
Maybe they are smaller.
Maybe
they're smaller, and there's more. I'm not sure.
I think they might be a little bit smaller.
They're
but
definitely spread out, and there's definitely more.
yeah, and they're just arranged in a different way, and like you'd be surprised how much of a difference it makes, really.
And the first thing I'm sure fans noticed, if they watched any footage, is that Kiss has a new curtain. When the curtain drops, they have a brand new one. So the one they've been using for years has been worn and tattered and beaten. You can actually see where it's been patched up a couple times.
And it was the white of the Kiss logo was kind of yellow. Like it was like
fading.
It was like, definitely faded, worn in, and just not white anymore. This new one is like bright white.
They have a
crisp.
brand new one. They
It's
must
beautiful.
be watching our show, because we called it out one time and said they had a patch and had to get it set up. They're like, oh snap, we got to fix that now. That'd be hilarious if Kiss watched our show. I doubt it. But anyway, so they have a new curtain that not only is it like beautifully black and white, and that white is real white, but even when the intro to Detroit Rock City starts, you can actually see their silhouette through the spotlights.
Yeah, like through the white Kiss, you can see them, and I don't know how they're doing it. Like, it's just a very strategic lighting, I guess.
It's either lighting or they're projecting it somehow, but it looks...
Well, and when it drops, they're right where they were when you saw it flash.
Exactly.
So I don't think it's a projection. I think you're actually seeing beyond, like, I don't know how they're doing it, but it's cool. I highly recommend checking out videos of it.
I forget what song it was, but I found one clip of a song before I could actually watch the intro, the opening for Detroit Rock City. And so I watched this one cool clip of the stage. Thought, okay, that's really cool. But then when I watched the intro and saw the curtain, I could tell that it was like bright and vibrant. And then I saw their silhouettes through, and I was like, dude, this is giving me freaking goosebumps.
It's so cool.
And the stage is so big now that the curtain can't even hide everything. So
true.
So when you look at the curtain, you actually still see all the pods and all the screens leaking out, because it just can't be contained anymore.
I love it.
It cannot be contained. Now, luckily, they did keep the cats. They still have the statue. They have Sammy the Serpent.
Yes.
So they're just adding as opposed to, taking away.
Yeah, and on top of all of this, there are also like 2 layers of these differently shaped like spikes.
Metal spikes.
I don't even know if spikes is the right way to describe it. You have to see pictures of it. But there's I don't even know. The ones further back are like tall and just real thin and sharp, and there's a bunch of them. And then when the different color lights hit them, it looks so cool.
They look like some kind of gothic architecture.
Yeah.
I'm at a loss for words for them.
That's a good way to
describe
put it.
them, but it's really cool.
Further down, there's some smaller that I almost didn't notice at first. Some smaller, more spiky, like pointy little studs. Do you remember that?
Yes.
It's fascinating. And then we also realized at the end, and I don't know if it happens in any other songs or not, but when they're doing Rock and Roll All Night at the encore, I noticed there was some like reddish, pinkish smoke coming out of somewhere, and then you realized that it was coming out of Sammy the Serpent.
Yeah, that could have been an effect that's been done before already, but I don't know why. And we just
haven't realized. But
I just either forgot about it or never noticed it. But yeah, so Sammy the Serpent was breathing smoke.
It was so cool.
Really cool. Lots of stuff happening. So another big glaring thing is the graphics on screen. Because we all know that Kiss has a huge screen, and they like to project, graphics on the screen, Kiss-related graphics, but they have some sick stuff right now. I noticed your coaster's Rock and Roll Over.
Yep.
So when they play Making Love, which, by the way, is still in the set list.
Yes, I didn't realize.
Still in.
Good.
So that means that we have a really good chance of it making it, hopefully it lasts until Indianapolis and Rosemont, because I have not seen that song live. I want to see it. It's a good addition to the set list.
Yeah.
So I want to see that song. But during Making Love, they actually project some really sick looking rock and roll over graphics.
I can't wait to see
like
that.
The red circle outline. They get real close up on Tommy's guitar, and they have all those like really like almost like cartoony, but it works. Like lightning flashes on Tommy's guitar during the solo, and it's just I don't know. I could see where some fans would say it's too much, over the top, and sensory overload, but that's Kiss.
Never.
Kiss is always meant to be
give me the most, please.
Sensory overload, and so this show that they're doing right now, I mean, this is a new show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like brand new because the theme is still there, but they've added enough to where this is.
I knew they would. I knew it. I felt it in my bones that as soon as they got back to the U.S., that there would be some new stuff. Because, I mean, we have talked about the Australia show and how cool that was, and there was, some minor changes there. But I was like, I feel like, internationally, it's hard to have all this brand new stuff and implement everything. I just feel like as soon as they get back, it's going to be a new stage, and we were right, it was, and I love it.
It's great, and the angle that we were watching some clips from, I didn't get to show you this part, but the way the stage looks now, if you were to look at it up top, remember how when we watched the AFL performance, they had those catwalks that had the icons and those like geometrical shapes?
Yeah.
So they actually have two of those
really?
On either end. And maybe they've been using something similar to that this whole time, but I really noticed that on the left and right sides of the stage, they're not like extended catwalks or anything.
Okay, so they don't go out into the audience.
They do, but like not very much.
Okay.
But just enough to where it's like if the stage was like straight here, then at the end, there's like little areas where they can go out maybe like 6 to 10 feet on a little rounded area with a microphone.
Okay.
Now, that may have been similar to what they've done, but I'm just now noticing it in this way, like this, for the first time. So it's just one more aspect of the show, along with the lights.
Yes. Oh, the lights are crazy.
The
light show
was going absolutely hard than it needed to, because it was like, I mean, they've always done really good with like light shows and everything. But what they're doing, and maybe I've said something else on the show before, but they're basically just trying to fill every single aspect of the X, Y, and Z axis to where you're in the crowd, no matter where you're at, all you're getting is just a Kiss overload.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah, and
I'm so excited for this Indianapolis show.
And the way they do it just makes it to where there is literally no bad seat, because you are getting such a massive show no matter how high up you are, because you're seeing so much more than just Kiss. And we also have on the screens, I know there's always been screens to the left and the right of the stage. I don't know if they were always Kiss Army flag shaped,
right?
Or if that's new. Maybe I just didn't realize it before, but that's something we noticed as well. It may have been like that. I don't know, but
I can't remember.
It's really cool, and I think they might be bigger as well. Another thing that we haven't talked about yet is the new lifts that Gene and Tommy get on at the end.
Oh snap! Yes, the what are they called? The scissor lifts that go out. I don't know what you want to call them. The extendable arms.
I cannot wait to see that in person.
So they've used something similar to this on previous tours, where during Rock and Roll Night, Gene and Tommy will go up and out. I think when we saw them on Freedom to Rock tour, they did that. Yeah. But the difference is that those were attached to the ground, and so they went kind of up and out like that. These ones are attached to the ceiling and lift them up from the ground and go up. So now they can just go higher and out farther.
They go out way further. They go it's crazy. Like they go up and are like right next to each other, and then they go like all the way around.
So if you're in the nosebleed, you can just high five Gene from
pretty much. And if you're on the floor, they're gonna be like way over your heads.
Oh yeah,
it's very, very cool. I'm excited to see that in person.
They've done something like this similar before, but the way they're doing it now is just perfected.
It's a new level,
and it looks really. Now, of course, every time they do something like this new, you always introduce difficulties and technical difficulties and things like that. But I mean, as we know, Kiss is a well-oiled machine, and the show that they're pulling off right now is fantastic. Yeah. And it has been the whole tour, but I don't know. I'm excited because I love it when Kiss does something new and changes it up. And, this tour has been going on for a long time, and they are just still putting some love into it and some new stuff. So, I don't know. I didn't even get to watch the whole show yet, so it wasn't like that was just every single new thing they've done.
Yeah, that's just from a few songs.
Yeah, I was like, if you've noticed anything that's changed, please in the comments let me know. I'd love to check it out. But I'm just enjoying this last stretch of Kiss shows, and getting to see what they're doing. And yeah, I'm so excited for Indianapolis and for Rosemont.
Dude, absolutely. And we knew somebody who was at the show last night, and we were so bummed that we weren't there because we actually live pretty close to Cincinnati. It's like
an hour and a half
away.
And Kiss was here.
They were here. They were so close. But like we already have these other shows coming up, and we've been extremely busy this month. So we just couldn't make it happen, but it's just so hard knowing they're close by, especially because it was the first show back in the U.S. with all these changes.
First show of the last leg.
And I can't imagine having been there to see all that live for the first time.
So cool.
Like, without just seeing it online.
Oh, yeah, they had no idea either.
Yeah.
They saw it for the first time live, had no idea. That's the cool stuff about it. By the way, I'm sorry if I spoiled all this for you. Hopefully, when we said, oh, by the way, new stage, here's what it is, that was your cue to tune out. But sorry if I spoiled that for you, but I just love talking about and digesting anything Kiss, anything new. That's why it's called Kiss Army Things, because all we're talking about is stuff that's, Kiss Army related. So yeah, that's some new tour updates. Did you have anything else that you could think of that was brand new that you could think of? I think that was pretty much it.
I know you mentioned that the Eric's drum lift is different.
It looked a lot different.
It did look a lot different.
It looked a lot
I feel like for a minute they were doing, I don't know what era it's from, but
Alive 2?
Yes, they were doing that like tapestry thing that hangs down with the cats on it.
Was that this tour?
I think they did it on this tour.
I know we've seen it before.
I feel like we've seen it somewhat recently.
But it looked like...
But they didn't do anything like that this time.
They did because it was a screen.
You're right.
It was a screen of the tapestry.
Yes, instead of the actual...
Jeb and I saw the tapestry in 2012 on the tour, and then they went to a screen. And so now there is no screen on Eric's drum kit. And it's more of like lift. It looked, there's a word for it, but I can't think of it. But it looked very industrial, very modern metal. I don't know. It looked weird. But I was hoping it would light up or do something, but it didn't quite go as high, I don't think. No. So maybe it's a work in progress. Maybe they're going to do something with it. I don't know. But yes, you are correct. Yeah. There was a new lift. And
there's enough other things going on stage that it's not a huge deal.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, well, the intro, the video, when they open the show is kind of new. I think
is it?
They introduced this in Europe, but when the band walks out and, Paul kicks the camera and all that. Yeah, so they introduced a new one for the 50th anniversary.
I love that.
In Europe. So we're gonna see that too. So just new. I love it.
I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I just really hope they keep making love in there. I'm worried.
Yeah, me too. That's my biggest thing. But honestly, that's pretty much it for Kiss updates and things like that. I don't have any Kiss merch to show this week, but for the first time ever, we actually have Kiss Army Things merch.
Yes, we do.
So I talked about how the buttons for Indianapolis and Rosemont came in. They are finally here.
Wow.
I'm going to regret that in 5 minutes when I gotta clean it up. But how cool is that?
These are awesome. They turned out so well.
Yeah, so if you guys watched the last video, I made this new logo for our 10th anniversary. Not the podcast 10th anniversary. It's about, 2.5 maybe? But the Facebook page started 10 years ago. And so to celebrate that, I made these this new logo and made the logo into buttons. And the whole reason for that is because I want to pass these out to you guys at Indianapolis and at Rosemont. So we're kind of talking about right now how we want to get there super early and get a feel for the venue, get a feel for where things are going to be happening, try and talk to as many folks as we can.
Yes.
Pass out these buttons and hopefully introduce everybody to the podcast, to the channel. We know that Kiss as a band is ending. I read a quote from Paul the other day talking about the last 25 shows and how it's, bittersweet because it's, really great, but also it's the end of the band as we know it. And reading that, the end of the band as we know it was hard to read because they haven't made any studio music. We've been listening to them or relying on them to be a live band. And now even that's, coming to a close. And so it was very, bittersweet to obviously read that. And so rest assured that here at Kiss Army Things, we're going to continue on the Kiss fun and the Kiss legacy.
Absolutely.
Any way we can. So obviously you guys know I like to make some awesome fun videos here. We have a podcast, so we're going to continue to do this as long as we can. And this is basically just my way of wanting to get to know you guys, say hi, and make these last shows extra special and give you something to walk away with.
Yes.
So if you're going to be in Indianapolis and Rosemont, please say hi. I mean, I'm not sure what section we're going to be in. It's going to be up top, in the back, towards the nosebleeds, like towards the wall. But we're going to be walking around. We're going to try and meet Amber Wild. So check out the merch booth where Amber Wild is. You might be able to find us there after their set. And I'm going to try and leave. I think Rob's going to as well because he made buttons for his podcast as well. We're going to leave him in little places at the venue.
I love that.
One in the parking lot, one on the concession stand, one on the railing here, on the staircase there, whatever, So if you happen to look and see a Kiss Army Things button, definitely pick it up.
It's like a little scavenger hunt.
Otherwise, if you see me, come say hi. I would love to meet you guys. And so that's just one thing that we're doing to make these shows extra cool, extra fun, and extra special.
Yeah, and another reason that we want to get there early, and another thing we're doing to try and make these shows special, I don't know if you guys have heard us mention this before, but just in case you haven't, we're working on something that we've called Project Kiss Spotlight.
Yeah.
And if you didn't see us mention it in our previous episode, what we're wanting to do is make these pieces of paper, these strips of colored construction paper.
Easy to do.
Yep, in the 4 Kiss colors, the red, purple, green, and blue. And we want to pass them out to as many people as we can. And what you do is you just hold it up to your phone flashlight, and it actually, from far away, it's going to show your light as that color. So, say during Beth or something like that.
Yeah.
When we normally turn our flashlights on, since we don't do the lighter thing much anymore, instead of just holding up your phone flashlight, you add your little green piece of paper, and then Eric can look out and
it shines green.
See a sea of green, hopefully.
It's dope.
So this is something you guys can totally do on your own, super easy. If not, look for us at those 2 specific shows, and we'll have a ton that we can share with you and people in your section.
Absolutely.
And we're just hoping this is something that'll spread a little bit, at least to our shows, if not any further than that. Because we just think it'd be something really fun and really cool if Kiss can see it from the stage.
For real. I mean, look, this whole episode we talked about all the things that Kiss is doing for us.
Yeah.
Putting millions of dollars and time into their show. And this is something that the fans can do. This is just the fans taking initiative and the fans giving back. So, again, it's cheap, it's fun, it's easy to do. It literally requires you to just cut out small pieces of paper. You just hold them in your pocket, and then when the time comes, just, as it were, put it up to your flashlight like this and just hold it.
Yeah.
And it literally... Try it out yourself.
It works.
Turn the lights out. Try it out. We went to see Greta Van Fleet, and they had a whole fan experience going on where they had people passing them out and trying to get everybody involved. And then they had like 2 certain, Beth level songs that at the end of the show, when they played them, the entire sea of people lit up as a rainbow.
Yeah.
And it was one section this color, one section that color, one section this color, and then we all held them up, and it was like a wave of rainbows. Now, we're not asking everybody to just in section 1 to have blue and section 2 to have green. That's not what it is. We just want there to be, during certain parts of the show, like during Beth, or when Paul and his purple disco, does Black Diamond, whatever.
Or Red Forgot Thunder.
Those cool moments in the show where, Kiss could look out and see something different.
Yeah.
Because, we go see Kiss year after year, and we see something different every time. The Monster or the Spider Stage, and they got this going on, and all the way back to, Alive 2 and all that. And yet, every night, all they see is the same thing, a pitch black sea of heads.
Yep.
So how...
Or at best, flashlights.
At best, flashlights and lighters and things like that. But how cool... would it be for Kiss to look out and see their color looking back at them?
Yeah.
Especially in Indianapolis, which is like, Indiana is the birthplace of the Kiss Army.
Yep.
The Expos are always in Indianapolis. They have such a huge tie to Indiana and Indianapolis. It'd be cool to have that show, be one that stands out. So if you're going to go to Indianapolis and Rosemont, like I said, try and find us and get your piece of paper, we got to think of a new name for it because paper sounds so lame. But that's why we had Rob name it, because Rob is the one that named it Kiss Spotlight, because he was like, well, you guys do the Kiss Spotlight in your
I can't believe we didn't think of that, honestly.
And now you're putting the spotlight on Kiss.
Yeah.
And you're a Kiss fan, so just call it the Kiss Fan Spotlight, call it the Kiss Spotlight. So it makes perfect sense. But it's just one more way for us to make these shows special. And so if you're not going to Indianapolis and you're not going to Rosemont, you're going to Nashville, or you're going to Baltimore, or one of these other shows, maybe you're going to one of the ones in Canada, take this and run with it.
Yeah.
Take this idea and run with it. If you have some sort of Kiss fan page channel, make your own merch, pass it out. If you have, pieces of paper lying around, you're creative, cut them out, pass them out, and let's do this. So just one more thing for us fans to get involved with and have fun, because come December 3rd, man, no more shows. And come January 1st, 2024, nothing to look forward to as far as Kiss shows. And there's always going to be, the guys are still living, so they're going to make appearances, and they'll still do interviews, and I'm sure there'll be greatest hits releases and all that. But this right here,
it's not going to be the same.
This right here is a very special time.
It is, and we need to savor it as much as possible. And that's what we're trying to do by doing all these episodes dedicated to tour, doing these buttons, doing the Kiss Spotlight.
Yeah.
Like, just dissecting every little moment of these last few shows, because we need to take it in as much as possible.
I have a list of topics for the show I want to get to at some point. I go, that'd be so cool to talk about on the pod. So I, make a list, but I haven't really gotten to that list at all because we've been focusing on this tour.
Yeah.
Like, this right here is all about, these last Kiss shows, and just having the best time of our life one last time. And so thank you all so much for joining us. I did want to mention that even though I didn't have any Kiss merch, Kiss did drop some new End of the Road merch.
Did they?
They did.
I don't think I knew that. Okay.
No, you did not. And that's because I went ahead and bought the tour book and didn't want to tell you until right now. So this is like...
I'm not even going to ask how much it was. It's fine.
It was only $40.
Oh, really?
It was only $40 for the tour book.
That's not bad.
And it wasn't, because I was like, it's going to be $60, $65, something stupid. And it was only $40.
Okay.
But this is like the 8th or 9th version.
How many do you have?
Only one.
Okay.
I only bought either the first or second edition. Yeah. I think I missed the first one.
Yeah.
The first printing, because they just sold so fast. So I got a second one. And the second one had a few typos in it and a few errors and things like that. And so they were changed and fixed for the third and fourth one. But because of all the cancellations and stuff, they've been, reprinted and redone.
Right, because the dates keep changing.
And now this one, though, has a new cover. It's the Final 50, of course, so it has the 3 logos on it, which I'm excited for.
That's really cool.
I'm sure it's going to have even more stuff at the end of it, or, somewhere mixed in, so I'm really happy about that.
Were there new shirts and stuff, too?
They had, I think, 1 or 2 new shirts, although several months ago, they had another round of new shirts.
Yeah, I remember that.
I wanted to buy a couple from those, because they were actually pretty cheap, like $35.
I still don't have an End of the Road shirt, and I feel like I need one.
You need one for sure. Maybe at some point we'll go shopping, and then you can open something on the pod here.
Yeah.
Because I've been lacking, man. I need to get this next paycheck, because there's some more merch I want to try and get, but I just gotta wait, gotta hold out. So I can't help but think that 2024, they're gonna bombard us.
Oh, yeah.
Because we've had no soundboards. We've had no news of any box set. We've had a couple small, like, picture disc releases and things like that, but nothing crazy.
Well, it's also going to depend on what happens with the potential sale. We still don't know if that's going to be a thing or not. So it will be very interesting to see what happens next year. Very interesting.
It is. But in either case, we're going to enjoy the moment, enjoy right now. So thank you guys for joining us on another episode of Kiss Army Things. Next week, if all goes as well, you can expect another epic Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park VFX edit.
It's awesome.
And
the coolest one yet, by far.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm holding off. Well, I'm not holding off. I'm working on it as far as I can, but because it's taking a while, I didn't want to rush it.
Yeah. I want it to be perfect.
I want to make sure it's as good as it can be and as good as it should be. So that's coming up next. Then we might have a Halloween theme video coming up after that. We're going to have some Indianapolis and Rosemont stuff coming up after that.
Which, for Halloween, we actually already have some somewhat spooky shirts on today. Yours is way more Halloween-y than mine, but mine's your dad's coffee house shirt that has the cool skull on it. So
I love that.
I want it to be a little festive.
This shirt, I completely forgot about.
It's awesome.
Sometimes you guys can't see. I got to make sure the audio on this does not
close
die.
It all the way.
You can kind of see in the background maybe the reflection of my audio. There's been a few times where the audio has died the show, never again. But because of that, you can't really see some of my shirts. And I wear some awesome shirts, y'all. And this one right here has got to be awesome. So hopefully you guys can still see it when I stand up here. But it is a Halloween themed shirt where the guys have
I love it.
No faces, no flesh, just skull and makeup.
Skulls and
kind of like yours. Super dope. Love the pumpkins. You got blood dripping on the pumpkin themed logo.
Yes.
And this was a KOL exclusive.
I love it.
Which is kind of random because they don't really do stuff like this. But I thought this was so cool. And I bought it last year and haven't really worn it since. And I thought it was one of those burlap shirts.
That are like all stiff
When
and
you buy
uncomfortable.
a new shirt, you have a 1 in 2 chance of it being either super comfy, super soft, or burlap sack.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking this one's like a burlap sack because the one I bought with Gene and Paul on the front, like from the Elder, is super cool looking, but it's really
so
thick and stiff.
Yeah.
And this one is just absolutely thin and soft. So it's funny how that works. But love this shirt. Love that shirt. Let us know in the comments what you guys think about the new stage, all that new stuff, and then follow us on Facebook and Instagram and subscribe to the channel. And then we will see you guys next time. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to mention, although I think we pretty much covered all of our bases. So. And so with that, we will see you next time on episode 70 of the Kiss Army Things podcast. Until then, my name is Xander.
My name is Daphne.
Cheers to you, babe. And cheers to you guys. Have a great day. Peace out.
See ya.